Hello, and welcome to Lords of the Fallen.
After eons of tyranny, the demon god Adyr was finally overthrown by humanity. Though fear of his terrible power endured. And so was formed the hallowed sentinels. Our duty being to stand vigil for signs of his return. Even exile to another realm could not silence the fallen god forever. And in time, Adyr's malignant influence pervaded the world once more. In his hunger for vengeance, Adyr orchestrated the return of his demonic army. Light was swallowed by shadow, and with it, hope. A new, grim champion arises, the Dark Crusaders. And perhaps it will indeed come to pass that only they who shun the light in order to fight the darkness possess the power to defy a god.
Right, and with that we are in. I'll just like load the menu up here, because yeah, apparently while it's doing all that, it isn't actually loading the rest of the game. So I think this will be, yeah, this is going to be my second attempt recording this. So that's why there's a continue option available. I'm tempted to just, we might just, well, I guess we are now. I meant to press back on load game there. I'll quit right away though. My mistake. Okay, weirdness with the loading in of the character there. It probably loads the character modelling before the armour. Right, what I was going to say, so I think, right, so we can delete characters and, right, I think to save myself recreating the character, we'll just start a new character. I'll make the same class, but when we get to the point where I'm at, I'm going to continue with the previous character and following their steps, just to save myself having to re-go through the character creation process, because I can only vaguely remember all the choices I made on that. Anyway, for she must read. There we go. It's all very foreboding and all that, right? We'll be getting straight in here. So we've got the guy from the cutscene at the start. It says what happens after he's been attacked by all the zombies. After being, you know, stabbed. I mean, I guess that's what you get when you attack a guy who's got a sword and you attack him with a lamp. That tends to happen.
notorious, forgive me. I'd steer this weapon of deliverance to a worthier servant than I.
Possessed the metal for this, Crusader. You failed.
Right. So, we will be going as... Now, we've got a few choices here, so we can go Dark Crusader, a paladin of the Dark Crusaders, an elite military order in service of the Church of Aryan Radiance, spreading the teachings of the Church and Aureus via whatever means necessary, a physically powerful class suitable for those who favour a more aggressive approach. Or we can go for a Hallowed Knight. Stalwart Knight whose loyalty to the Cleric and the Hallowed Sentinels is matched only by their determination to destroy Adyr and the Rogar. A class focused on the physical prowess, bolstered by Radiance. A bit of a paladin, I guess, then. So, two different holy orders we can be a part of. That's how you can tell it's a dark fantasy game. Or we can be basically a barbarian. Hardened champion of the land of Udirangia, who has proven themselves worthy of the people's honoured ranks of Warwolf by completing an ancient trial of which only a few survive, a devastating but light-armoured class driven by raw strength for good or ill. Partisan, a dutiful Morningstead fighter whose sorrow at the ruination of the kingdom of their kingdom by occupying forces only fuels their defiant struggle in its name. Whether fighting up close or with a steel flail from range, or from range with a crossbow, a strong and dependable all-rounder class. They do start with a crossbow as well, don't they? Mornstead Infantry, seasoned Mornstead foot soldier whose time in the mud and blood and tumult of battle taught them the value of agility, speed and keeping the enemy at a distance, a class for those who favoured dexterity and light defence over strength and bulkier armour. Blackfeather Ranger, member of the elite band of rangers patrolling the forests of the fief of Kirangia, for a terrible curse born of grief lay waste to their home. An accessible class ideal for those who prefer versatility over a more focused approach. So yeah, they've got a bow and an axe and a shield. Right, we've got an exiled stalker. And the ones from here on out are marked as advanced classes, so these are a bit more specialised. A former assassin, their downfall and subsequent banishment from their homeland has made them a nomadic cutthroat. Killing swiftly and efficiently for nothing more than coin, a challenging class to master, but also lethally effective. We also have Orion Preacher, a wandering preacher whose unshakable faith in the divine will of Aureus guides their way while they spread his holy light. Physically vulnerable class reliant on radiance, whether for protection or searing the sinful flesh of heretics. We've got a Pyrrhic cultist, a fervent worshipper of Adyr who has sworn to see the natural order finally restored and humanity's one true god return to his rightful place as their ruler. A high-risk class reliant on proficiency in Inferno. So they're actually a demon worshipper. So I guess they would be against these Orion people, like the Preacher and the Hallowed Knight and the Dark Crusade would probably be directly opposed to that sort of person. Anyway, we do of course have a Condemned, a prisoner who suffered indiscriminable torments, whether there was any truth in their guilt or not. A class for those who will not rage at fate and throttle adversity with unflinching, blood-soaked hands. Pick at your own risk. Lovely. So you start with a bucket attached to you. Gotta love it, right. So like I say, I'll be picking what I did previously and I'm just going to continue on from there. Not really doing anything to it. But you've got a pretty good customization. I'll just show it off a bit so you can kind of see what's up. So you can move that over. Takes a second for it to just load in the change here, so you know I can make them super thin at the extreme, a bit malnourished. Move them over to large. Wait for it to just load that in. Yeah, they can be quite tubby. Or we can go for, you know, Hercules himself. You can kind of see the I'm not really fond of the head thing here, where you kind of drag it between these three. I'm a bit like, well, why? So you can sort of morph them between these three, which is a bit odd. Anyway, we'll randomize them a few times. Oh god. I'm just realizing here that it's like, yeah. It can actually like completely change the... Jesus Christ, why would you allow people to like mess with the colour like that? Ugh. Awful. Anyway. Right. Looks like we'll be just playing as this guy for now. Oh, it's got like root colour and actual colour, hasn't it? Interesting. Right. Oh, no, go back to there. Yep. But you get the idea. You can put like some wrinkles on with the face texture. You can choose some tattoos. There's a decent selection of them. Takes a moment to kind of load them in. Oh, left it selecting of course as well. And you've got choice of scars. Anyway. Character name. It'll just be temporary, so we'll go with Bob. Maybe I should have gone with Sir Bob. But you get an idea of the character creator. It's kind of similar to like Elden Ring or Dark Souls and that. And you'll notice that a lot. It's very much a, hey, this is kind of like Dark Souls.
Great potential dwells within you, doubtless, for you to be chosen thusly. And so does Aureus' wisdom guide my hand in the bestowment of this subsequent boon. Your flesh has been made sacrosanct with the mark of the Dark Crusaders. Prove yourself worthy of this gift. Seek me in the bowels of the bridge. Our work is of the greatest import.
Casually, dragon just goes past overhead. Yeah. Prove thyself worthy as the dragon passes. Maybe I should just stay in bed, you know? Anyway, this is where we start. So, like I said, I've had to reattempt to record this. I've had a bit of trouble. I got it running on ultra settings. It took it a while to load in. But once it had kind of loaded in and it had time to go, it was running quite well. No problems. And then I stopped the recording and it just wouldn't, it refused to stop the recording on OBS. So basically OBS doesn't like it when it's running at ultra settings. And not only that, I was also beginning to notice that when I was going between load areas, so when I eventually get to the end of this tutorial, I was having an issue where as I moved outside of the room that's here in the tutorial, I'd move outside of this area into the next area, and oh, it would lag. And it just started making me think, well, if it's going to lag like mad when I'm moving between areas, you know, you start thinking, well, will it really lag like mad if, say, a boss is there, or there's a lot going off on screen, and can't really trust it. But mostly just because OBS crashed. It's like, well, I absolutely have to now drop the settings. Can't do it. If it can't record it like that, then it can't do it. Anyway, we'll quickly blast through the tutorial area though, since I'm not learning the game now. Smash through here. Now we do actually want to drop down here and not just do the sprint bit first, because there are some goodies here. There. And then we'll give it a good sprint and get right up to the edge. Ooh, still not quite right. Okay. And go. Took me a few tries the first time. You got to get right up on the edge. I really hate it when they do these, and like, if it's not a platforming game, please don't make it so you have to do like super precise jumps, especially when your jumping mechanics just aren't really there. My best dodge, but oh well. It is what it is. Right. We're going to equip our rock. And we're going to throw the rock. And bop. Oh, something as well we can do. So we actually have. So as you can see, I'm kind of one-handing the sword when I probably shouldn't be. And we end up just doing that. And we've got this kind of 4-swing combo. And when we do a heavy attack, we lunge forwards. Which, by the way, is aimed, so you'll notice that. So the swings do appear to be somewhat aimed. So, for example, if I aim there, I'll stab low. Stab up, you can stab high, which is quite interesting. Two-hand it, and my standing heavy becomes a swing back and forth like that, and you get a lunge on your 4-hit combo. So a 4-hit combo becomes, of light attacks, becomes a lunge on the second swing. not overly important at the moment, but I do want to keep in mind which attack has the lunge on it, because that's a really good initiator. So you can also combo them into... You can also combo lights into heavies and so on. And you get a different move when you sprint and attack. Like I do this whole little twirl thing with the heavy attack. And it's kind of like drag the sword along the floor and like uppercut them with the light attack. So if I go back to one-handing and I sprint and swing, it's a lunge. And same if I do a heavy attack. Actually no, heavy attack becomes a backhand. Anyway. And we're going to knock this down, because that's why it's telling me to do all this stuff about range combat. Just knock that over, get a free thing. There we go. And this is kind of like the cool quirk of the game that we've got here, that we'll see. Swap to the lamp. Yeah, there's like a demon monster just there. So moths indicate points of interest in Umbral. We can raise our lamp that we've just got, and we can see big evil monster, and this is all very, very dark and horrific. But we can also see that these two tendril thingies come this way. One going this way and one going up there. Then kind of wrapping around over that way. Right. So if we follow those, we can get through. And by the way, whatever's caught in the light of this is in Umbral, which is the land of the dead, so I'm told. Whereas anything that's now behind us and not in the line of sight of this lamp is in the land of the living, which I think it was Avyon or something they're called in the game. This will tell us later in a while when we come back here. Right, and this is just kind of explaining what I was explaining a minute ago with the attack combos, how we can kind of, yeah, do that. And we have basically healing, so this little cross item that I've got equipped in the bottom left there, I can use that. I have 3 of them, they recharge when we rest, very much like Dark Souls. One thing that's worth noting here, it's about to tell us, we can transition to be in Umbral permanently. So you can see there's this hand going up. Ooh, very spooky, that's the thing we need to follow. Hand there that catches us, and we just go across. So I think, okay. So I just need to walk up here. No. Of course, that smashes the moment we step on it. So, we have to hold down X. Basically, we commit seppuku, just off ourselves, and we're now dead. And we are in the land of the dead. As you can tell, because of, well, all the dead people we can see. Right. And then we can soul flare things. Not just obstacles, but it will tell us in a moment we can soul flare people as well. So we'll lock on here, do a soul flare. And what that does is it pulls the soul out of the body that we're aiming at. And what we can do here that it's explaining is we can do the same with enemies. So we can aim, we can pull their soul out. Whoa. And doing so allows us to attack them pretty much freely, do a massive amount of damage. But as you can see in the top left, we have this little circle that's greyed out now. We only have so many charges that we can soul flare with. Now soul flaying an obstacle doesn't cost a charge. It only costs a charge if you use it on a living enemy. So to get the soul charges back, we have to absorb energy either from the environment like this. We can absorb it from things we point the lantern at. And after all of these, this gives us just enough. You can see the little blue flames lit up on that little token on the top left. That's us getting our charge back, so we can now do that to another enemy. What we're about to learn about here is Wither. So while we're in Umbral, the land of the dead, we are slowly becoming, well, dead. So our max health is decreasing. If anything hits us, that max health that's lost will be lost forever. So it just gets torn away from us. If we hit an enemy though, it will restore some of it back to being normal health. So as you can see, so part of my health bar was grey, it's come back. And we'll get these killed, there we go. As you can see, we now no longer have any withered health. We can grab this item. Saintly Quintessence. No idea what it is, but we've got it. We can fall here, do a little lunge attack. Oh, we've got him. Now if we aim at them and we soul flare and move our stick to the left, we can do that. And just drop onto them. So we can kind of, as we're soul flaying, aim in a particular direction and it'll move the enemies in that direction when they eventually get their soul pulled out. So we can use it to throw them off of ledges. Now while we're here and it's just started filling up, we'll get this dread icon. So we'll see a little eyeball icon appear next to the amount of I think they're called souls that we're getting. I don't know. They always change it between all these types of games. But anyway, the XP points, whatever you want to call them, that we're collecting, it will raise upwards as we get. I don't know if it says we get more or whatever, but anyway, it's as we keep going. While we're in Umbral, it'll become more dangerous. And as that little eyeball icon starts filling up, this little bar will start filling up in a circle around it. And that will slowly but surely, mean that tougher and tougher enemies will start hunting us while we're in here. So the enemy spawns will become much more dangerous. But of course, as with everything, you know, risk reward, eh? So, you might recognise where we are. And there we go. And this is basically, so we can go from Umbral, and it was Axiom the name. So it's Axiom, the land of the living, Umbral, the land of the dead. We can transition between. And we can kick enemies. This is Lords of the Fallen! Cool. And we're through. So, this one is, and yeah, well basically that's the more or less end of the tutorial. As we go through here, there might be a bit more, but this is where I got with the previous character. And this is basically here a bonfire. So this is a fallen knight who previously bared one of these lanterns we've got, and we can rest here where they've died. So, and we can basically pick a level. So we can. Oh, actually, have we got enough? Ooh, we might not quite have enough. Ooh, we don't. Well, anyway, I'll tell you what these do. So, strength will make us physically stronger. We'll do a bit more physical damage. It'll increase our physical defense stat. We can go for agility, which will increase. I'm guessing that there's going to be like agility-based weapons, kind of how Dark Souls works. So it'll be things like bows and other specific weapon types. Endurance makes us typically just endurance is stamina and weight on our equipment. Vitality is weight on our equipment, but it also increases health. Radiance and Inferno both increase whether we're going to do holy damage or fire damage, basically. So if we want to become a spellcaster and have like holy spells, we go Radiance. If we want to be a spellcaster who's doing fire spells and be like a pyro, we want to be doing Inferno. That's the general gist of it. Right, anyway, as I mentioned, we'll be swapping character now. And we are back with, well, me. This one's just called Dabbers, so... And we have... Yeah, so I've put a single point into strength, basically at this point. And we're back, though. So, yes, very, very much a... Pretty much exactly what you would expect. It is a Souls-like... Tactica's Journal and a map of Mornstead. Probably want to give that a look. Okay. However, journal, a number of its pages missing. The journal belonged to Tacitus, a fearless explorer and cartographer who had travelled across the Orthlands and far beyond, eventually venturing into Morningstead only to seemingly never emerge from the kingdom. A map of Morningstead highlighting some of the significant locations to be found. Okay, can't do anything with it, apparently. What else have we got here? Oh, we've got a corrupted mask if we want it. It is terrible. Scripture covered in strips of parchment which explode upon impact, inflicts holy damage upon enemies, whilst also healing allies. Increase your radiance to gain further insight. And this is type ammo. Okay. Ammo costs 3, ammo costs 1. Oh. We've got a Paladin Isaac's sword. Right. Increase radiance to gain further insight on that. A wooden cross. Not designed as a weapon, but still capable of serving as one. Hmm. I mean, can I... If I go to my inventory, can I use that? Ah yeah, so if those... Yeah, when those aren't highlighted, can't do anything with it. But there's no... Okay, weird. Right. Whatever. We're getting in here though. Block. Block with left bumper. But beware, blocking enemies' attacks withers your health. Strike enemies to restore your withered health. However, you will lose it instantly if you are struck. Parry by pressing left bumper just before impact to receive left wither damage and deliver high posture damage to the enemy. The enemy's posture is reduced by any attack, each with its own posture damage. So experiment with all weapons and attack types. Once it's depleted, stagger the enemy with a charged heavy attack, a parry, or a kick. Deliver a grievous strike to a staggered enemy with a right bumper. Oh, he does a grab. As inflicting bleeding. Get him. Oh, right, if I see him move it right hand, look out, because he's doing that. Hey, we got him. We might not be done though.
Give me that lamp.
So this is what killed the other fella, right? We might be a bit boned now. Ooh. Yeah, that didn't even register as damage to him. Oh god. Jesus Christ. So the first guy was tutorial boss number 1. The second guy, who killed the previous Crusader, who we got this from, was very much a you are supposed to die on this boss type person, I'm guessing. Because yeah, every single one of his attacks was just obliterating me. Unless he's not, and we're screwed now, forever. I mean, it is a cutscene though. Vigor recovery. If you perish in Umbral, all your current vigor will be dropped at the spot where you died. You can recover your dropped vigor with your Umbral lamp by approaching it and pressing A. But beware, some enemies might pick it up before you, and you'll need to defeat them to recover it. If you die in Umbral before collecting your dropped vigor, it will be permanently lost. So this is the death tutorial. Oh, right, there we go. So interact with it, yeah. Nothing out of the ordinary here in particular. Right. Oh. Interesting. So I can see something there with the lamp, but couldn't otherwise. Right, I think this might be the path forwards then. And this might be a little side bit here. Hang on. Umbral parasites can symbiotically merge with other creatures, protecting them or granting them enhanced power. Use Umbral lamp and find the parasite, and siphon parasites to destroy them. Okay. No, you don't, you git. Map of abandoned red corpse. Sometimes moths indicate your path is blocked, but there's something in the Umbral realm. Select your lamp and rift by pressing that and that. Once in Umbral, lock onto an environmental element and sulfate to pave your way. Ah, I see. That's where the next checkpoint is. Which means this path back here is a side path. Which means there's stuff here. Usually. Possibly. Oh, hello. Oh, wow, okay, so there's an enormous door there in Umbral. I'm like, oh, maybe there's something in Umbral that will help me here and be able to go and get that other item. No, 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 here's a giant F-off door that just says, go screw yourself. For even making the attempt. Well, so it's very impressive. The design team has basically had to go and make 2 games here, haven't they? They've had to make 2 game worlds essentially for all this. Right. I think we'll make it to this next checkpoint and we might be calling it there. I'm surprised we didn't get more, I guess it's Vigor it's called then. But yeah, we didn't get more Vigor for doing the boss. And suicide. Lock on, need to remember. Hello. I can't lock onto him, so it would seem this is a friendly person. Yes.
I always wondered if there were others. You're probably thinking that lamp's just a tool to be used as you see fit. Take it lightly, and you'll find it's the other way around. Mark my words. I don't know who you are, and I don't care. But since it seems Adyr has you marked, making you a bigger threat to the rogue ourselves as both. I've defied the wills of gods and kings. If you know any kind of freedom, you'll do the same.
I think we're just going to get canned
I've
sponsors now.
defied the wills.
Yes, we are. Right. Anyway, that's going to call it there. So activate our next resting point. We'll put an upgrade in if we can. I don't think we can. Need 2,137 to do another. Right. We'll have a rest. So yes, this has been Lords of the Fallen. So again, it is very much a. It's not just a Souls-like. It's almost a love letter to Dark Souls. This, just like every bit of it is oozing Dark Souls. From character design to the UI to everything, it's just Dark Souls. But I mean, it's been a year and a bit since Elden Ring. It doesn't look like that DLC's. It doesn't look like that's coming out anytime soon. And the only recent game from them has been Armored Core, which was fun, but it isn't Dark Souls. So if you fancy some Dark Souls and you can't wait, you know, you've finished playing Elden Ring and doing the Elden Ring randomizer and then playing it with your mates and that, then you're ready for something new that's basically Dark Souls but really, really good looking and has this like unique puzzle twist on it. This might be for you. We'll be continuing on in future episodes. It's a weird one, Lords of the Fallen, because it was originally made by Deck 13. I'm very surprised that they've actually kept the Lords of the Fallen brand. I've no idea why they've done that and not just completely started afresh, but it's with a different publisher. I think it's called CI Games or something, and then it's by I think we're called Hexworks, I think, if I remember seeing it at the start of the game. So it's a completely different developer. Originally it was Deck 13 and Focus Interactive were publishing, and they've since gone to make the Surge 2, and then they've made, I think it was called like Atlas Fallen or something they've made recently, but it wasn't particularly great. It was a bit bland, and I've heard bad reviews about it, so I've given that one a miss. But that's where they've gone. So it's completely different publisher, completely different developer. They've kind of, I mean, the first one didn't have much story or much in the way of yeah, it didn't have much story to it. Not loads happened. It wasn't like a particularly like really memorable cult classic game. So I'm a bit kind of, why have they not just made it a new game and rebranded or whatever? But whatever, it is what it is. Does seem to have some performance issues at the moment. I've heard some issues around the co-op. Apparently it says seamless, but it means just you can drop in, drop out. It does not mean, hey, co-op, cross progression, everyone gets the items when you pick them up or anything like that. So there's apparently some issues around the design of the co-op that people are a bit annoyed at. So it's kind of sitting at mixed reviews between that and the performance issues, because it auto detects your graphics as well at the start, and like I say, it caused really bad issues when I was playing it at the beginning. It just really, really didn't want to run, and I've updated my drivers especially for this. I'm actually hoping to see if I could do it in 4K, get the recording done in that, since it's a really good looking game. First one I've played in Unreal 5, so like, oh yeah, we can maybe do something special for it. No, it stutters, it's awful. I've dropped it to high, so it's still good. You know, it's still good. But I've dropped it to high, I've turned the film grain and the blur off and things, and lowered a few other settings, and it seems to be fine. But I'm wondering if it's maybe only being tested on Nvidia, 4090s at their place or something. Anyway, We'll continue on next time. More to come. This will be making a little bit of a series on the channel. We'll play it through to completion, hopefully. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in future episodes. I'll see you then.